staff here at Trout Lake Camps. And who am I here with?
And I'm James Rock. I'm the new executive director of Trout Lake Camps.
That is amazing. And what excites you about this position?
You know, a lot of things excite me about being the executive director at Trout, but if I can take a minute, I want to go back a little bit. Whenever I've changed positions at camp or things like that, it reminds me of quite a long time ago when I was a little kid, and my grandma and grandpa came to me and my sisters and said, "Hey, whenever you guys want to go to camp, don't worry about it. We'll send you guys to camp. We'll make it happen," all those kind of things. Now, again, at the time I lived in Michigan. So down here, there's a little place called Bear Lake Bible Camp. And I was able to go there as a camper multiple times, and amazing things happened in my life. I got saved there. I got baptized there. I met my future wife there when I was on junior staff, what Trout would call D-team staff. And then I was on college staff there. And eventually I was an intern there, a maintenance intern, which if you know anything about me now, you know that doesn't make any sense. But all sorts of great, amazing things happened because my grandma and grandpa said, "Hey, kids, we're going to send you guys to camp." And man, what an amazing thing they did for my sisters and my family in having us go to Bear Lake.
And I know this about you, that you have a lot of experience at different camps and doing different things. So why Trout Lake Camps?
You know, the cool thing about Trout Lake Camps is the community that it has. But, you know, the reason why I've been able to be here for 26 plus years is that Trout Lake Camps is always working on something new, always doing something interesting, always finding a different way to teach the Bible or a different way to communicate who Jesus is to kids. And so there's never been a moment in my time at Trout that I've been like, man, there's nothing else to do. I've reached the glass ceiling. And I've been so blessed with the people that have been around me and helped me learn. The past executive directors, Roger Kammerer, before him, Kingsley, before him, Kobelish, or I did that out of order, but there's huge names of leaders in Trout Lake Camp that were pivotal people in Christian camping. And then I worked along Scott Brewski for years, who was an amazing on-site director. I've been just blessed at being around amazing leaders. And then our team here, when I came here, I think there was like 8 of us, now there's over 40 of us on staff. Our summer staff count would have been like 80, 90 then, and now it's like 180 summer staff that come in a summer. And so just the community here is so awesome, and being able to be a part of this place is just amazing.
So cool. And you talked a lot about how you have yet to reach your glass ceiling, that we're always working toward excellence and the next project. So what are a few projects that you're excited about working on here?
There's so many great things that Trout's always working on, and a lot of that is education. And actually, we're sitting in a piece of that right now. This is a podcast studio, essentially, that we've made. There's this one, and then there's also one behind us here that's got a big table where we can interview multiple people at a time. But we want to use this podcast studio to educate campers. So after they go home, they could watch a podcast about the theme that they just saw at camp. And Nick or Mariah or Hannah could add to the Bible teaching points that they had at camp. Or with staff, before they come in the summer, they could watch some videos of us talking about being on staff. Or when they leave, we can still keep talking about Bible points and things that they can learn and stuff like that. And even parents, we've had a huge response to when we talk to parents or send videos about how do you get around camp. And so we want to put clips on our website about how to be a great parent of a camper at camp, or make sure we're communicating to parents what their kids learned in a week so they can take it home with them. And so, it's always exciting working on that. How do we teach people? How do we educate people? How do we get the message out just so everybody can do camp better and learn more from camp? And then also there's all the great things with the 3 camps and the age specific style of the 3 camps with the 3 different age groups. And also the things that we're building a pastor's cottage so pastors can come and hang out and get away with their family in a cottage that we've made for them. And then we're always working on lots of projects, lots of things that trying to improve Trout and make it better.
So awesome. And before I move on, go ahead and talk about who has come before you and the transition that goes along with that.
Yeah, and so I had the opportunity to work with John Wicklund. He was the executive director here for almost 20 years.
Mhm.
And John and I had a great working relationship for years, and we really leaned on each other and relied on each other. The great thing about John is he's not going anywhere. He's still going to help us and do fundraising and help make sure the projects we get are put together correctly and stuff like that. But he's just really got a passion for doing those fundraising pieces and going out there.
I love that collaboration piece
Mhm.
that we always are talking about here at Trout. And speaking of that, who are we excited and so pumped to invite onto our team?
Yes. So Ben Frank is one of my favorite camp stories. Is always when somebody starts as a camper and then becomes a D team staff, and then becomes a summer staff, and then becomes an intern, then becomes a staff member. That goes off through. Ben Frank goes back further than my time here, where his dad was on staff here, and actually his dad was also the director at Pine Lake in Iowa, and the crazy thing is Ben came on staff as a D teamer, kind of worked through, was on food service staff, and then he went off to the military world, and then came back, and then went off to the military world again as a chaplain. And when we found out we were going to make this adjustment here at camp, he was the first phone call I made. And I said, "Hey, Ben, would you like to come back at camp and help us with the details, help us with the financial side of camp, and do some of the things that Wick had been doing for us?" And my favorite line from anybody in a long time is he said, "James, you could have called me in about 3 weeks in the past year, going forward or back, and the only in those 3 weeks would I have been able to say yes." And it just happens to be Thursday of the third week.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, Ben's coming back, who had been on staff here multiple times in multiple different ways, and just an amazing guy. And it's going to be so great to have him back on our team.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James Rock.
Thanks very much.